I mean, let's go get into the next thing you about to talk about.
Next thing I want to talk about is capital punishment. Capital punishment. Another thing that I put on the Facebook page earlier today, which the conversation there went in completely different direction. But where I want to go with this is the United States was recently announced that the United States ranks 5th on the global execution scale. Translation, only 4 countries in the world kill more people than the United States of America. America had 43 executions in 2011. Again, ranks 5th in the world. Quote, if you look at the company we're in globally, it's not the company we want to be in. China, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Iraq, says Susan Nozel, who is the executive director of Amnesty International, as she told the Associated Press. So, Big Room, I'm going to start with you on this one. China, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Iraq, the only 4 countries in the world that execute more people than the United States of America. What's your opinion on that?
We should be upset. Why? We should be upset for the reason that we should be higher on this list. You know what? You can say what you want. I am a believer of capital punishment because if you do the crime, you need to do the time.
Okay.
I think that sometimes that there are people sitting in jail. I understand that somebody's loved ones, yada yada yada. But when you take multiple people away from their loved ones, it's a trade-off. You gave your life for theirs. What's up?
You know what? I'm a firm believer in Nebuchadnezzar. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, nail for a nail.
Yeah.
Kill my mama, I'm gonna kill your mama.
Yeah, but you know what? That theory will leave everybody walking around blind and toothless.
And you know what? You be scared to do some.
Exactly. Here's the thing. Here's the devil advocate, and I'm on record. Anybody that knows me personally knows that I'm absolutely on the record as being on the fence with regards to capital punishment. It depends on the day of the week that you ask me this question.
Okay.
You ask me tomorrow, I might be for it. You ask me today, I'm not for it because I know that there are people who are going to be scheduled to be executed later on this year who were executed last year. Troy Davis, for one. Troy Davis. Let's not forget about him. Who have been executed when there's evidence of their innocence. So for the 43 people who were clearly guilty of doing the heinous crimes that we know that they committed, I would gladly take their lives back and put them on this planet to spare the life of the one person who was executed who is innocent. To me, it's not worth it.
But what about all the people that they took from this planet?
I understand that. I do. But I also don't believe that, again, you ask me this tomorrow, I might have a different opinion. I'm on record of being wishy-washy on it. So if you want to call me on it, call me on it. I'm telling you straight up, I'm wishy-washy on the death penalty.
804-726-3430. Get your opinion in.
Get it in. It depends. It really does depend because, I saw a story that came out this morning. I saw in the news where a guy who spent 25 years in prison for killing his wife's 3-year-old son at the time was there. Of course, 3 years old. How much can you say about what happened? But this 3-year-old grew up without his mother, who's deceased, and his father was in prison for taking his mother out. And DNA recently found that this man was innocent, but he had no relationship with his son. His son, now 28 years old, has also found out that this man, his father, was innocent, but because he doesn't know him, doesn't really have any desire to know him because he was raised by another family. It's just not worth it to me that you would destroy a family when you're not really sure versus the possibility that you might be sure.
But what about the ones that, without a shadow of a doubt, 100% are sure, and they're sitting there taking our taxpayers' money, getting 3 meals a day, sitting around doing whatever, getting education.
Let me ask you this thing, because I am a very proud, body erect conspiracy theorist. I put my chest out when I say it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Do you trust the United States government?
Of course not.
All right. Do you trust the United States justice system? Because I'm going to ask you that question speaking from someone who's marched on the Justice Department. I was on the ground and marched. Okay? No justice, no peace, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
On the Justice Department lawn for some of the tragedies that these people have carried out. Okay? Yep. These are the same people who have the power to step in and halt the execution of people who have questions to their guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Troy Davis and the like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So those 43 people who United States executed last year, we don't know.
Well, first of all, I think that number's wrong.
Why do you think it's wrong when they can count? I mean, it's counting.
I mean, because we, by far, Virginia, execute many people every year.
Yeah,
And
but
we're like number 3 in the country.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we executed a ton last year.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not a hard number to research.
I think
And
Texas probably got 43.
I've already done it. Texas didn't, it's 43 in the country. Okay? Texas, Virginia, Florida, those are always going to be the 3 highest states. And then you got other states that might do 1, 2, whatever.
And people still aren't deterred from doing a heinous crime.
Yeah, I mean, there's no evidence, Big Rube, that capital punishment is going to keep people from committing these crimes.
Well, and my thing is, I think it's the type of capital punishment. What happens in Utah? People don't kill people in Utah. You wonder why? Because they die by firing squad.
Huh?
Yes, their mode of execution is firing squad. There's like 6 or 7 people. One person has a bullet. You don't know who's shooting you. Everybody aims once for the heart, and that's how it goes down. Now, a lot of people don't get killed in Utah. You know why? Because who wants to die by a bullet?
Oh, I thought it was just too expensive to buy a damn bullet.
I mean, they don't do that anymore. I understand where you're coming from.
And
There's some states that give you the choice on how you want to go out.
Yeah,
and they don't do it
like we're
that.
gas chamber for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, right now you can't get the firing squad anymore. But I understand the spirit of where you're going.
I mean, but my thing is, like Thailand executes a lot of people. There are not a lot of people who do serious crimes in Thailand. You wanna know why? Because they get their hands cut off. There are not a lot of thieves who get caught. There may be a lot of thieves, but they don't get caught. So you got to be good to go.
I mean, I hear you. It's just not one of those things that I'm gonna go on record and say that I agree with.
And it's not for everybody.
No, it's not. I mean, it really does depend on where you coming from and what your experiences are and things of that sort. I mean, again, me personally, for every Troy Davis, I would gladly bring back Troy Davis when we know that there was question to his guilt versus the execution of 43 people.
And see, I guess that's it. For me, I completely understand that. My thing is, if there is a question, then they shouldn't get the death penalty. But there is, without question, that they killed 20 people. Oh yeah, man, you don't spend 2 years in jail. You're done.
Gotcha. We got a caller on the line. We got Hop on the line. What's up, Hop?
What's going on, man? How's everything?
Good, man. Thanks for calling back, man. We remember you called before. Thanks for the support. What you want to get in on, man?
This capital punishment thing. And also on the deportation about the Vietnamese thing.
Okay, what you got?
That's perfectly fine within the rights of international law. This is what I go to school for. You can't send somebody home if they don't have a country to go to.
Okay.
But I don't think that they should have let him out on the streets, but Vietnam said they don't want him back. They just can't ship him off somewhere. So people saying that if he was from a black or Hispanic country, then it doesn't happen because that's
okay.
international law says you have to have a home to go to. That's why everybody born in the world has to have a birth certificate and a passport. If you want to leave your country or whatever, or some type of document like that.
Okay.
And capital punishment thing, Utah, I don't believe that they do the firing squad no more. That's cruel and unusual punishment, which is illegal. And the reason why, we rank so high up there with all these other countries that we consider, so evil and all this other stuff like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Iran, because of the culture here. In other industrialized countries, they don't have the type of crimes committed like we do in the United States, because they have a different culture and their justice system is totally different from ours. We're supposed to rehabilitate people here, which we don't do. In other industrialized countries, they rehabilitate their criminals, so they have an extremely low level of recidivism, which means that the criminals don't enter back into the criminal system. And there's mostly all studies say that capital punishment is not a deterrent to crime. And that's also, illegal within the international law community, capital punishment. But, United States is the United States. They do whatever it is that they want to do.
So, Hop, I got a question. Just Big Rube. Are you shocked by the number of the number 43 of capital punishment deaths that we had last year? And do you think it should have? You thought it would be higher or lower than that?
I think that's just about right. But what I am shocked by is that there's this NGO called the Innocence Project, and what they do is they try to overturn people's convictions of people who are on death row, and they have found more than at least 300 people who are sitting on death row or who have been sitting on death row. They have found they exonerated them, through their own research, and going over testimony in the trials or whatever, and going over the evidence. They exonerate these people. So these are more than 300 people who were wrongly convicted of crimes and were sitting on death row for years. And because of the work of this NGO, these people now have what's left of their life back. Because some of these people have been on death row for like 17 years, 20 years for crimes that they didn't commit. So that's what I'm more shocked by, or proud that there are people out there who work, to exonerate people who have been wrongly convicted.
That's what's up. Hop, man, we appreciate you joining us week after week and listening to us. Thank you for your support.
Love the show, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the support, and share us with your friends, man.
I do that. I do that.
Have a good night, brother. Peace.
You too. Take care.
Yep. I mean, the whole capital punishment thing is just, like I said, I go back and forth. My man, K-Dub, who joined us in the last segment, wanted to get in on it, so he sent me a quick note. Hey, look, show me the hand you stole it with. That's all he said. That's all he got to say.